What is the best way to use generative AI such as ChatGPT to be more effective as a contractor, consultant, or even employee? Now, let's not pretend. I know you guys utilize ChatGPT or Gemini, or even Claude, to essentially help you when it comes to your business endeavors, or even professional endeavors. But I want to talk about how I utilize it or think about utilizing it when it comes to utilizing these things. Now, of course, there are so many different AI tools out there that you can use. And what I would ensure that you understand is that you can't heavily rely on this stuff. Okay. It's great for brainstorming. It's great for ideation. It's great for giving you a sense of structure. It's great for triggering, you to take action and stuff. But the human factor is always going to be very important. So I want to note that as well. The second thing I want to make clear is that you need to understand what the policies and the confidentiality looks like when it comes to utilizing generative AI, ChatGPT, and all this kind of stuff there to help you. So if you're not putting any sensitive information in your chats or your prompts, that's great. But if you are, just know that you have to know what that looks like in terms of what you're allowed and what you're not allowed to do. So I just want to preface that. And the way to maybe sort of like battle against that to a degree is to have a separate generative AI account, such as a separate ChatGPT account, Gemini account, or Claude account for your, again, professional endeavors. So separate from your personal. But some of you may be like, no, I want it all intertwined so it really understands me. And I fully understand. But I just need to say this so I can get that out of the way. So the first thing that I want to talk about is you have to be able to create what I call the blueprint. Okay. The blueprint is an opportunity for, and I'm going to use ChatGPT as an example, for ChatGPT to fully understand you as a person. So the way I would do this, and have done this in the past, is I would sit down on a Zoom call, Google Meet, or Teams call and record it if you've got that functionality. Record it, and transcription functionality needs to be available for this as well. So that I start speaking either A, about my life, so this is for the personal sort of realm, or B, about my professional experience. I need to talk about what I want to talk about. Now, initially, ironically, I may write some notes, like some really succinct notes. So the notes may be like, in 2019, I was a senior implementation manager. In 2020, I was this, that, blah, 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 just so I know what I'm talking to. Now, this video doesn't need to be perfect. It's just an opportunity for you to get everything out. You talk about your experiences, you talk about past, so problems, actions, results, what you specifically done for each thing. You speak about where you were, what type of methodologies that you utilized, the things that you've learned, the benefits, all of that kind of stuff there, so that you clearly highlight what type of professional you are. So this is almost like a CV. It's a visual account, it's a video account of what you've done, and an opportunity for you to get everything out. So this blueprint is going to be important because what you can do is you can then get that transcript, put that into something like a ChatGPT, okay, if you have a pro account, or a Gemini or a Claude, and get it to more succinctly write out all of the different things that you've done. Now, of course, if you don't want to do it that way, you can just stick to using the transcript. Okay, so it's just raw. And then you would save that as a PDF. And every time you do a prompt, okay, or a new chat, you may upload this transcript or this PDF into this chat so it has context behind who you are as a person. So the blueprint is a big one. It's a game changer. You can be as bespoke or as sort of wide as you want to be when it comes to it. So that's the first thing. Make sure you develop some sort of blueprint. The second thing is to make sure that you have what I call your your OM, your AI operating manual. And what this really means is you need to be able to, in your prompts, get the generative AI to understand what it is that you want from them, okay, or from it, okay, if we're not personifying it. So if you want it to essentially be a business analyst or a program manager or a critical non-executive director or whatever it may be, then you need to define what that is. And so you may, in a separate chat, get some ideas around what are the qualities of a program manager, a business analyst, all of those different stuff, so that you can put this as, or generate this as a prompt to basically say, hey ChatGPT, I would love for you to be a shrewd or clinical business analyst that has 10 years experience within the engineering space within the public sector. Please focus on the following points when it comes to analyzing this work or this information, etc., etc. So you get it to do that. And then you say, can you improve this prompt so it's better? You store this somewhere, whatever it may be, and you may utilize it later. And I'll talk about where you can utilize it. But that allows there to be a way for, again, the chat to operate when you are feeding it information. So that's the second thing. Make sure that you have some sort of way to ensure this. And this becomes really cool because you're getting the AI to understand how you want to operate, what that intellectual property looks like, and you can produce results faster. So the third thing is you want to create what I call hubs, project hubs. So on ChatGPT, this is called folders, I believe, or projects. I think they're called projects. You can do the same thing on Gemini. I don't use Claude as much, but you probably can do it on Claude too. But these hubs, these project hubs, are ways for you to categorize different things. So maybe you've got something centered around project document assets. Maybe another thing centered around strategy development. Maybe another thing centered around finances or whatever it may be. The point being made is that there is a way for you to house different prompts and different information. And of course, there is a certain level in which you can sort of dictate what is said in those different sort of like projects, etc., which I'll talk about later on. This is why I'm checking my notes. So this is a way for you to be organized. I remember before when I just had loads of like chats open and it was all over the place. And actually when the projects came out for ChatGPT, I started putting them in folders and it just feels cleaner. Of course, as you develop and go, you'll start to put more chats into different sort of like folders or project hubs, as I'd like to call them. The fourth thing is utilizing canvases. So I know this is present on ChatGPT and Gemini. And canvases, so you have to select the option. So there may be a plus sign or a toggle sign. You click on it, you go to canvas. Canvases is an opportunity for you to essentially, I would say, edit a response from a prompt if you need to edit it, whether that's an email, a document that is giving you initial ideas. So rather than going back and forth with the bot, you can just essentially make the changes on the actual generative AI platform. And that's a cool thing that you can do. So it may be a game changer for you, may not be, but the point being made is it's a neat way of quickly editing what's already been generated by the AI, because it will get like 90% of it correct, but that 10% is going to be crucial because maybe there are certain details that is missed. So that's another thing to bear in mind. The fifth thing is making sure that the settings are on autopilot. What does that really mean? So remember when I said you can create different folders, which are called project hubs. There are things called custom instructions, okay? So this can be present in a folder where everything within that folder has a high level custom instruction. Or if you go onto ChatGPT, you go to personalize, you'll see custom instructions there. You can tell it how you want it to behave. So what sort of outputs you're looking for, what sort of things it needs to say, etc., etc. In addition to that, in the personalization element, you can add a bio and talk about who you are so it understands you better. You can actually change I think it's the tone of how it responds. So you can be more robotic by nature, you could be more cynical by nature. There are different sort of options that you can utilize. So play around with the settings. That's another sort of neat trick to help you be more efficient. And what I'd suggest is, if you were never to use ChatGPT or Gemini or Claude again, I would save the core response or the main response that you want into a Google Doc so that you have this information saved in its most crystallized and purest form. And actually you can use Google Docs. I think there's a tabs feature now where you can save different documents within a document. So check that out if you haven't done that already. I would say, I think that was the fifth thing. The sixth thing now is what I call specialist GPTs, okay? Or specialist agents, so to speak. And so this is an opportunity for you to create a custom chat. I think in Gemini it's called Gems, where it has a specified action. So I don't know if you've seen this video already, but there was a report by MIT that showed that 95% of businesses who tried to use agentic tools didn't benefit from using them. And actually, they found out that being more narrow and niche with your approach to utilizing generative AI has been more beneficial for administrative tasks, management tasks, etc., etc. So these GPTs, these gems, these specialized agents, as I call them, are useful when it comes to having a process and filling in gaps within the process. So let's say, for example, this is for your own personal brand. You could use this for thumbnail generation, not necessarily the picture, but let's say titles, or for developing the SEO element, or developing tags, or for organizing your, helping you understand what you have in your inbox, as an example, because of the agentic tools. So you can create a GPT that is, let's say, private to you or public to your team, and it can generate, again, different prompts and responses based on a set of instructions. And actually, it can get context from, I think, like multiple different documents that it can reference for information. Okay, so you can really design something really well here when it comes to your specialist agents. The seventh thing is to make sure that you develop the right AI habits. And really, this comes down to, look, we probably use AI every single day, but how does it become part of your workflow? Okay, does it become part of your workflow for helping you manage emails? Does it become part of your workflow when it comes to generating email responses? Does it become part of your workflow when it comes to minute taking or whatever it may be? There are so many different things that you can utilize it for. So think about what you do during the day and how you can leverage AI to help you just get to a result much quicker. You're not going to rely on it. This is why I said leverage. You're still going to have to do work. Okay. And so this is why it's important to recognize that stuff. The eighth thing is there is memory on some of these tools. So at least for ChatGPT, there is a memory element, especially if you use Pro. So check to see, go to settings, go to, I want to say, there should be a memory section, and you'll see how full your memory is. When you read through that, you'll be amazed at what ChatGPT has kept or tracked, especially if you told it to save information, because you can do that. Also because it saved it anyway. So you want to go through it and delete and remove anything that's not necessary anymore, and actually update it with what is necessary if need be. So that's a neat trick. And that actually negates the need to be so organized. I'll still be organized, but it negates the need to be so organized because your memory is actually up to date and it will remember stuff regardless of what chat you're in. So bear that in mind. Memory is a neat little trick. And the final thing, the ninth thing I want to talk about is using your voice. So you can use the AI voice sort of like tool to develop your prompts. I don't rely on that too much because I've had so many instances where I've had a panic attack because I've done this long voice thing and it's not pushing through. I don't want that headache. It has always worked, but I've had to kept on resending the prompt again and again and again to convert it, but I don't want that headache. So now I use a voice to text feature. So if you know of any voice to text features, I use voicenotes.ai to essentially do it. I hold on to FN and I speak, and it will produce my prompt for me with a few sort of errors that I have to change. But that's one way of doing it because it's a way for you to articulate what you really mean. It may not be the perfect English or grammar, whatever language you're using, but it's a great way to articulate and express what you mean. And actually, the AI starts to understand you a bit better. So those are 9 different key ways. Okay, let me go through them again through my list here. So number 1, develop a blueprint, okay, document that you can upload to each chat. Number 2, develop an operating manual that you utilize for a specific chat so it can service your needs. Number 3, develop project hubs or what they call folders in ChatGPT so you can be organized. Number 4, ensure that you have a way to use canvases when it comes to updating stuff rather than going back and forth in a chat. Number 5, use autopilot settings. This is essentially custom instructions for your whole ChatGPT or for a specific folder. Number 6, use specialized agents, okay, or GPTs as they're called, in order to create custom sort of responses for specific types of prompts within your process. Number 7, be clear about what your AI habits are. So look at your process and understand how you can utilize AI more effectively. Number 8, update the memory so you're more effective. And number 9, use voice to text for your inputs. So whether you're a contractor, consultant, employee, or just somebody who utilizes these sort of like generative AIs, I think this is going to be helpful for you anyway. So let me know what you liked from this video the most, and let me know if there's anything that you think I've missed. So hopefully, if you want to see more videos centered around portfolio careers, contracting, and you make sure to like this video, subscribe to this channel, and hit the notification bell. And as always, my friends, understand, reach, and expand. Peace.